Hello and welcome back to the Game Lore Archives. As always, you're with your trusty lore hunters, myself Joe.
And me Dan.
And
by lore hunters you mean geeks, right?
Geeks, yeah. I think that's the correct terminology for what we do.
Just so there was no confusion.
And today we'll be discussing the wizards that exist in Sanctuary and the variations of them as well, such as sorceresses and mages. This is pretty much a continuation of the previous episode, so if you haven't, please do go and check it out. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you've not already done so. Check out our Patreon, as this hugely helps and is massively appreciated because it helps us make these episodes for you guys.
So, magic users exist all across Sanctuary in various academies and groups, and use their mysterious forces of the arcane to cast their spells. Their power is drawn from a realm called Ether. It is separate to the physical realm, but lies against it. The analogy used is that of the sea,
which is the realm of Ether,
and the sky,
which is of Sanctuary.
And that power can be drawn from the ether, causing turbulence between the two realms. A lot of energy that is called upon from the realm is lost in the transition. The ether realm enables mages to teleport. They enter the realm, move to where they need to be, and re-enter the physical realm. Manipulation of ether lets the mage use telekinesis powers to manipulate objects, and assassins' use of ether to improve their weapons. The ether does have its own denizens called the Hidden. They linger on the edge of the border between the physical and the ethereal realm, invisible to the mortal eye, and gather in groups to ambush mortals and feed from their fear. Their invisibility is a curse from the prime evils.
And it's definitely not the worst curse that could have been inflicted on them.
And only in combat are they visible, so they seek out fights wherever they can. They have adapted to the invisibility and become the bogeyman which haunts people's nightmares.
Although all of the mages, wizards and sorceresses, and anyone who can cast a spell, can be put under the umbrella of spellcaster, there are some differences between them, which is what we'll discuss. First of all, mages and sorcerers tend to be part of larger organisations which have rules to control the unpredictable spells and limit mages to their abilities. There are many mage clans, and often they're in competition with each other, which stems from their suspicion and jealousy of each other's advancements. One such clan is called Zann Esu clan, which is where the sorceress from Diablo 2 came from, and of course the clans discussed in the previous episode as well, such as the Vis-Jaqer.
The Vis-Jaqer are one of the largest, oldest and most powerful mage clans in the history of Sanctuary. The summoner from Diablo 1 is from this clan. His name is Jazreth and is a powerful sorcerer. Jazreth is just one of the sorcerers that the Vis-Jaqer sent to investigate the evil that had surfaced in Tristram. Jazreth went with Aidan,
the prince,
and Morena,
the rogue,
into the lower levels of the cathedral to find and fight Diablo. After this is done, Jazreth is disturbed by the events and tries to find answers by following in Horizon's footsteps. Horizon was one of the most powerful and successful mages when it came to summoning and controlling demons, so naturally after what happened with Diablo, Jazreth seeks out Horizon's knowledge. He searches for the Arcane Sanctuary, which is a pocket dimension that Horizon built. Here, the heroes from Diablo 2 find him. He's been turned to evil and must be defeated. The reason for his change is not massively clear, and there are a couple of options. One is that his time with Diablo and other demons means that he's become one of their slaves, or that he's been possessed by the spirit of Horizon himself.
One of the heroes that can be used to defeat Jazreth is the Sorceress in Diablo 2. Her name is Isendra, and she comes from the Zann Esu clan. The Zann Esu clan, like the Vis-Jaqer, is extremely old, but very little is actually known about them. Centuries ago, 13 covens of witches came together and then vanished into the eastern jungle. Nothing about the meeting was known, and the exact locations not known either. They have very little contact with the outside world, and I think no one would know of their existence if it wasn't for their recruitment drives. Every 7 years, sorceresses visit various families all with 7-year-old girls. They ask the girls the same questions and are always pleasant, and they leave, and sometimes they come back and select the girls to join them, asking only those with the most innate power. The families that the girls come from then benefit from good fortune for many years.
The sorceresses are on the search for the purest magic. They feel that elemental magic will achieve this and ignore all other branches. They believe that only by attending the purest elemental magics can they become the most powerful mages in Sanctuary. With the emergence of Diablo in Tristram, the Zann Esu fan felt that destroying the primevals would be a challenge enough to prove they were the most powerful mages in the land. They were sent out to all corners of the land, and one of these sorcerers was Isendra, who joins the heroes in Diablo 2. But her story doesn't actually finish there. In Diablo 3, she returns in Act 5 to provide the wizard with the power of death to fight Mathiel, and she tells the wizard that she was indeed killed by an assassin from the Vis-Jaqer Mage clan.
One of the reasons why she was asked to come back was because she initially mentored the canonical wizard Li-Ming. Now, the mage from the first game was a summoner, the mage from the second game was the sorceress, and Li-Ming was the wizard in the third game, so she's the only wizard. Wizards are different, as their lust for power means they feel constrained by the rules and caution of the schools. They are often more powerful mages, as they're happy to let more power flow through them. And although accidents do happen, this rarely deters wizards. They use their bodies to contain arcane energy, and they often crackle while filled with it. This allows them to cast spells to a much higher level and more frequently, but if overused, the arcane power can begin to destroy their bodies. This dangerous way of using magic does mean that they can control elements to burn, electrocute, and freeze their enemies. Their basic spells can be channeled through staves or wands, and orbs provide their mind with visions and knowledge to aid the spell casting. This helps them to build up power and unleash extremely powerful spells such as calling meteors down or summoning black holes.
And all of that describes Li-Ming perfectly. Isandra took her to the Yashari Sanctum when she showed great promise at the age of 7. Soon her search for power meant Li-Ming was reading forbidden texts, and one of the archmages, worried about her unbridled curiosity and never-ending search for more power, took her from Isandra so he could teach Li-Ming himself. His name was Valthek, and he tried to bring the wayward mage to heel, and tried to bring some order and structure to Li-Ming's studies. Soon, Li-Ming acted against Valthek's wishes to save a town from drought, and Isandra sided with her former student against Valthek. When Isandra initially took Li-Ming under her wing, she thought she was prophesied to defeat the evils of hell. Li-Ming took this to heart, but nobody else really was convinced, and after Li-Ming disobeyed Valthek, he organised an assassin to kill Isandra. Li-Ming noticed the huge surge in magic and took Valthek to investigate. When they arrived at the scene, Valthek said that Isandra had lost control of the spell, but Li-Ming knew he was hiding the fact that she was killed by an assassin. This drove a wedge between student and teacher, and Li-Ming spent her time learning her more powerful magic.
It was not long before Li-Ming learned of the fallen star in Tristram, and she asked her mentor to be allowed to investigate and to find out if this was the beginning of the prophecy that Isandra had predicted for her. He stopped her from going and engaged her in a duel. Li-Ming was much more powerful than Valthek realised, and she brought down the Great Hall on him. He tried to warn her about the magic she wielded, but he fell unconscious, and Li-Ming didn't care. She left to track down the fallen star, and when Valthek awoke, he ordered an assassin to hunt Li-Ming down and kill her.
And that completes all of the lore that we have, well, combined with last episode, on mages, sorcery, mage clans, and all of the canonical mages throughout the Diablo games. So those in the comments, those who pick the spellcasters, what do you think of the lore? Is there more than you expected or less? As always, don't forget to subscribe and have a look at the rest of the channel for all the lore episodes and different series and lots of other exciting content.